Ladies and gentlemen, on the line, I have Leak.
I appreciate the way you hook it up for us, man. You've been shouting us out for a minute, so I've been listening. I'm like, okay.
Thank you.
I appreciate that because a lot of people don't, give us our props or, our due respect,
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Now, you went by, on the B side, you went by Lil CK, for anyone who doesn't know. Should have been a B-Dog, rip a C in half. And I'm going to be saying terms throughout the show, and I mean no disrespect to the blue team. I'm just, it's a historical purposes only is why I'm using these words. But we're definitely going to talk about that. But before we even get into banging on wax, man, let's talk about your life, dude. Let's take it all the way back, man. Tell everybody where you grew up.
So, okay. So, as everybody know, my brother is REDRUM. So, we was born in the Bronx, New York. But we moved out here when we was about like 2 or 3. Well, I was about 2 or 3, and he was he like 2.5 years older than me, so he was like 5 or 6, something like that. So yeah, we grew up we came out here to LA on the east side in Avalon neighborhood, and then we moved around for a little while. But then my grandmother eventually moved to Inglewood in the early 80s, maybe even was like in the early 70s, like late 70s, my bad. Late 70s, early 80s. My grandmother had moved to Inglewood, so we was going to school that way, so eventually my mom's moved over that way too, so shit, that's where we landed at, and called home, so basically,
okay,
that's where I grew up at, and,
What was your life like before you jumped off the porch?
I was, a regular school kid, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you a little insight in like my elementary school. So when I grew up, coming up in the early 80s, it was mostly like Crips. You know what I'm saying? It was more Crip based, especially where I lived at, because I lived in Inglewood on Crenshaw and Imperial, between Crenshaw and Van Ness. So over there, it was mostly Crip based. And then where I went to school, I went to Q, James Q, which eventually turned to Bennett Q. That's where, it was a little Crip elementary school, you know what I'm saying? So that's where I first got introduced to the gangbang. And even on my block, I had, introduced to some guys they was, Crip affiliated, and, I really didn't know what it was, coming up, I heard about it, but I really didn't know what it was. And, all I knew was, it was a little thug dudes. And so, I eventually, became friends with this dude from IVC. His name was Toby. They called him Lil Lee Mac, shout out to him. And we became friends, and shit, ever since then, I just started, catching on to the lingo and what dudes wear. But it was only like, only seen like the Crip side, I really didn't know no blood. So basically, that's how my first beginning started. It was like really, I was introduced to like the Crips first, so, and then from there, I used to, going back and forth to school, see little stuff, and then I eventually went to Monroe, which it was like a whole different light to me, because it was like Bloods and Crips, and it was like, I had, like I said, I had the homie from IVC, but we wasn't like close like that. We was close, but not close like that. So eventually, when we started going to junior high school, he went his way, I went mine. So I just knew it. I knew like all my friends was like Crips at first. I had a homie from Santana. I had a homie from Watergate. I had a homie from IVC, which they didn't get along. So them two used to clash a little bit, what I'm saying, had a little fights and shit. I used to laugh, thinking it's funny, like, damn, y'all, both of y'all Crips and y'all be beefing, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit crazy. So, but, so just like I said, as I coming up, I knew all these Crip dudes, but they knew I wasn't about to be affiliated with it, because I didn't really like how they got down and they little bickering, and you know what I'm saying? They just it wasn't my style type of thing, and I wasn't really trying to even gangbang like that. I just know all the gangbangers, so I didn't choose a side in the beginning. Then eventually, like I said, going to Monroe, I started meeting people, and you know what I'm saying. And I even was like saying Loke and shit, you know what I'm saying. Not trying to be a Crip, but you know what I'm saying. I was saying Loke, and because that's all I knew, trying to be cool, you know what I'm saying. So that was my introduction to that. Then I met the homies from Avenues and Crenshaw Mafias and families, and it was just a whole different light. And then I got real cool with them, and then eventually I just that was closer to my house, So when I would go to school, that's the neighborhoods I would go through and meet dudes from over there. And then my 7th grade year, you know what I'm saying? That's when I kind of got like turned out.
Was your brother already, and RIP to your brother, man, great man, nice with the pen. We're going to talk about him a little bit later, but was he already involved in the street life as well?
Nah, he was just rapping. My brother was always like that rapper dude to just wear the Kango and you know, just running around rapping and battling dudes. That was his thing. He used to love to battle. Like, y'all just want to show that I'm the best. So he was the light-skinned dominator. So that was his nickname, LSD. So he would just run around battling people. That's how we met Corrupt and Marcel from IVC and Big Y. Because they was all rappers. They was just rappers. They wasn't gang banging. There was nothing like that. Because back then, like I tell people, back in the early 80s, if you was rapping, that was corny. So gang banging and rapping didn't mix. Back then, you had little stuff like Ice-T, you know what I'm saying? But that was like real early on, so people didn't even know that he was a gang member. He would just say like gangster stuff. So, you know, so we would like the music, but we wasn't really into, like I said, the two didn't mix. So they were just rappers back then. There wasn't no gang stuff.
What was going on in your life just before the Bangin' on Wax project dropped, just before you got approached to be on it? Can you tell us what was going on in your life before then?
Oh man, I was like, I got put on the hood like 2 years prior to the album getting put out. So like I said, like when I went to Monroe, I kind of got turned out. So I think I got put on like, it was like 90, between 89 and 90. Summer school, you know, going to we had a little elementary school that the homies used to go to every weekend. So one of my homies, his name Lil Bang, you know, he was already affiliated. So I used to kick it with him every day. And then I just started going to the park every Sunday. And then, you know, I'm just like, man, fuck it, you know, I'm trying to be from the hood, you know what I'm saying? So I was a little bad dude, you know what I'm saying? I was like a little bad kid back then. I was, you know, ditching school and doing the most, you know what I'm saying? Not trying to be rebellious, but just, you know, not growing up with our fathers, you know what I'm saying? Our mother is always at work and just be on the streets doing our thing, you know what I'm saying? That's just how we grew up, just growing up fast. So basically, I get put on, did my, you know what I'm saying, that same day, I go home, like, just to give you a quick story, I go home kind of lumped up. My brother, like, what happened? You know what I'm saying? He was always like, nigga, what happened? Like, ready to roll for me. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm laughing. I'm like, he's like, what, you know, and I told him what was up. He's like, oh, hell no, fuck that. Wherever you from, I'm going to be from. So, and he wasn't, like I said, he wasn't even, he knew the Bloods and he knew the Crips, but he wasn't really trying to be affiliated. He was just rapping. So once I got put on, it was just like, he just like, nah, I'm going to be where you from. I'm, you know, trying to be my protector, you know, and, you know, much love to him. So that's how he got put on. So this is before Bangin' on Wax. So, and then I want to clear something up to I heard on another podcast about Bloody Mary and her not being affiliated until after the project. I'm going to clear all that up right now.
Please.
So Bloody Mary, this is how she came along. So she was doing music with, well, okay, let me start from the beginning with Bloody Mary real quick. Bloody Mary was like a LA groupie. So she was living in Ohio. She went to one of Tweety Bird Loc shows. They eventually scooped her up from Ohio and brought her to Compton. Now, whatever she was doing in Compton, I have no idea. My brother knew her back then. My brother was always cool with Tweety Bird. They were signed to a label like way back in the early 80s, before Bangin' on Wax, before, you know what I'm saying? Before all that, when they was like teenagers. So they knew each other from way back then. So when she started coming around us, she saw a whole different side. Now, the True Blue stuff that she was hanging with them or whatever they did to her, I don't know nothing about it. But when she came with us, that was just the homegirl. She liked how the homegirls got down. She liked how the homies got down. So she felt at home. So eventually she was catching the bus, just coming to the hood, just fucking with us all the time. So eventually everybody was like, well, shit, you might as well be from the hood. Even though we didn't know her like that, but she was just coming around. She knew a lot of stuff going on, you know what I'm saying? So eventually it was like, just, you might as well be from the hood. And she wanted to anyway. She was trying to claim it low key anyway. So she got put on before Banging on Wax. Just to clear that up.
Thank you for doing
So anyway, back to the story about me and my brother. So then once he got put on, you know, that's when he started changing his music up. And that's when he started doing the gangster rap.
Okay. Now, from your point of view, because there are differing stories, you know, out there in Banging on Wax land, you know, how did the Banging on Wax project come together? Because your brother was a very pivotal part in that. So from your point of view, how did things come together?
Okay. So my brother, like I said, him and Tweety Bird was managed by this guy, Robert Lewis. His name was Robert Lewis. He was the guitar player for Luther Vandross. So he was trying to start his label. But at that time, for some reason, he couldn't do it, or he was under some kind of contract where he couldn't start the label. So he knew Ronnie Phillips. Ronnie Phillips wanted to sign. He had just did this group, and they did a song called Batman or something. I don't even wasn't too familiar with that. But we knew he had put records out. We knew he had put Tweety Bird Loc out. So my brother he wanted to sign my brother and Tweety. Well, actually, let me go back. They presented a Bloods and Crips album to the guy Robert Lewis. Robert Lewis thought it was a good idea, and he said, "Well, I can't do it." And he presented it to Ronnie because he said Ronnie, was in the industry and could make things happen. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it got to Ronnie. So then, my brother and Tweety Bird sat down with Ronnie, told them how they wanted to do it, and he just was like, "Well, where y'all gonna get the members from?" So they was like, "That ain't nothing. Just once they push forward the project, then that's when my brother came and got me and Nene, which is Bloody Mary. So we was doing it by ourselves. It was just us three. So it was, at least it was Sin, Do or Die, Tweety, Joe. You had, let me think. A couple other guys. Rest in peace. What's that guy's name? From Kelly Park.
And AWOL?
AWOL. So he had AWOL. So it was like 6 or 7 of them, and it was only 3 of us. So they was like, y'all hard, you know what I'm saying? Y'all doing it, but y'all gonna need some more members, because we had already did PlRU Love, and we had already did Ripper in Half. No. Sorry, we didn't do that one yet. We did EK Ride. We had just did them 2 songs by ourselves. And they was like, it's hard, but y'all gonna need more people because they're gonna be looking like the Crips outnumbering the Bloods. But we was like, that's how it is in the streets anyway. And at that time, that's how it was. Anywhere you go, you're gonna be outnumbered. So you know what I'm saying? It was like, that's how it was. But they was like, nah, we want to kind of even it out. So that's when my brother went and got Big Y, because we used to rap battle them back in high school. So he was like, Big Y hard, I'm gonna go get Big Y. So Big Y was a down move from Crenshaw Mafia, so we went and got Big Y. So Big Y eventually brung his cousin, which is Dog, Sugar Booger. So Sugar Booger was just there, you know what I'm saying, just chilling, just sitting there watching, you know what I'm saying, just like, damn, y'all doing y'all thing, sitting along. And so we was doing songs, and then Bolo had just got out of jail, which is a little stretch. He had just got out of jail, so him and Big Y was already a rap group. So when he got out, Big Y like, man, can we pull Bolo in? We like, cool, we ain't tripping. So then that's when Bolo came in. So then we like, all right, that's it. So it was like 4 of us. 5 including Bloody Mary. And then, my brother was like, well, Dog, jump on this song. Matter of fact, I think Dog actually jumped on the song, but he couldn't really write or whatever. So my brother wrote him that verse. And that's how he ended up getting on the song. That's why he was only on one song. Because, you know what I'm saying, he really wasn't part of it. but he ended up being a part of it, just being a relative of Big Y.
Tell us about the first day when everyone came together, you know, when the recording process started. Talk to us about that time.
Yeah, it was like, okay, so like a lot of us was like, man, this is crazy. We about to do some a song. You know, we didn't really believe it. Like, we like, man, this, you know, we knew Tweety and them, they was cool. And like all the dudes playing the instruments was from Kelly Park. Well, let me not put that out there. They was Kelly Park affiliated, Compton affiliates on the Crip side. So we met them already. So we was all cool, laughing and joking. But they like, we're going to bring the homies. And, you know, they cool, like, whatever. But Tweety already had a group called UWC.
Yeah.
So that's where the Crip side came from. That group called UWC. Yeah. So that's where they came from. And then they brought two of their little homies. So that's how the Crip side got formed. So eventually, like, you know, you had AWOL, which was straight. He was like me, young, just with it. You know what I'm saying? Just crazy. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't as wild as him because he was a little wild. But dude was like real wild and shit. You know what I'm saying? Him and his other partner, damn, I can't think of the little dude name. But he was on the first Bang on Wax too on their side. He was only like on one song though. Crip Inch.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So they was like around my age. So they, you know what I'm saying? So we was like the youngest dudes there. So when we first got there, you know what I'm saying? It was like a lot of mad dogging and niggas wasn't really feeling it at first. Like, man, we don't know these dudes because, you know, it was still tension on the streets and the truce had just fell apart, which Compton was they was with the truce. They you know, Compton was a part of the whole truce. Inglewood wasn't. But we like certain members, we would go out and go, you know, party with the truce guys or whatever. You know, we would go hang out with them or whatever, but we wasn't really with it. You know what I'm saying? So the album, it was like I said, it was like tension because, you know, Inglewood wasn't really with it, but we was like, they ain't our across the way enemies. They from way across town. So it was like, whatever. And then, you know, niggas exchange words, introduce each other to, you know, one another. And, you know, eventually, you know, we sat down and talked, and then, you know, they just basically told us, like, you know, it ain't gonna be no fight, no, whatever y'all do, y'all gonna take that away from here. And so dudes was like, you know, we ain't tripping. Like, you know, then niggas broke the ice telling jokes, and eventually, you know, everybody became real cool. It wasn't even no tension. Like, after, like, the first week, all that tension just was out the door. But, you know, you'll have dudes bringing they homies, or like us, maybe bringing a homie, like, we'll try to tell a homie, like, man, be cool, you know. But then he'll see these niggas blued up and blue rags hanging, and he's like, oh, he might say a little something smart, and then we have to calm it down or whatever, you know. Because, you know, at that time, it was like real gangbang sessions, you know what I'm saying? It was real, you know what I'm saying? It was like a lot of tension.
Yeah. 80s and 90s we think LA is bad now, but, you know, around that time, we had upwards of 2,000. Yeah, we had upwards of 2,000 homicides a year. It was just really crazy in LA. It was really, really crazy, man. You were most notably on PlRU Love. We talked about that. Let's break some of these songs down. Yeah. Now, there were two versions of PlRU Love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about that? How that happened?
Okay, so like I said, at first, PlRU Love was just my brother and Nene. So my brother came up with the thing, like, oh, let's do Computer Love and switch it to PlRU Love. So that was he came up with that. So once he did that, we had I can't think of my boy's name. Folk Clips. There we go. Folk Clips. It's been a long time.
Oh yeah, he did the hook.
Clips, right? You know, he was.
He did the hook, right?
Yeah, rest in peace, Folk Clips. Yeah, so
and he was a Crip.
We didn't have no singers, so we like, man, we need to get somebody to sing it. So we just told him to play around with it and hum it, and he was doing such a good job. We're like, bro, you want to do it? And he was like, man, niggas gonna be mad, but I don't give a fuck. Well, it's like, fuck it, nigga, do it. And shit, he did it, and it became what it became to this day, you know. And so that's how that came apart. So then, so on the first one, it was my brother and Nene. They did the original. That was their their song. So then they want to do a video version because they want to do something to compete with Steady Dipping. So they got me, Little Stretch, and Big Y. So we did it first. We did that version, but it was too long. They was like, it's too long. You know, we just gonna cut it down to 4 people. So that's when they cut Big Y off because he was the last one all the way at the end. So they just cut the end off. They really, I don't even think they even told us until the actual song was like ready to go. Then they was like, well, this is what it is. And Big Y was cut off. So I don't think he was mad or nothing. He just was like, it is what it is, you know?
Okay. I always wonder how that happened.
He was on the Banging on Wax.
That's right. I think he opened it up. No, Domino opened that up. And then,
yeah Domino opened it up.
That's right.
He came like almost at the end.
Yeah, that's right. Very distinctive voice, man. I love his voice. But all right, so who wrote Bloody Mary's verse? Because that is that's probably the best fucking verse in.
I don't know why you would ask that. Bloody Mary wrote Bloody Mary.
So she did, verse. And I apologize to Bloody Mary. R.I.P. to her, man. I apologize. I assume that your brother penned that or something like that. No, she wrote that, huh?
No. Everybody wrote their own verse, except like I said, Sugar Booger. He had help with his in the beginning. Well, on the first 2 albums. Because my brother wrote his stuff for Banging on Wax Part 2 as well. And then he just started eventually penning his own game, you know what I'm saying? Putting pen to his own game and doing his own thing. But, and I as well, you know what I'm saying? I was getting a little help from my brother writing certain things because I really wasn't a rapper. But I was just around when him and Corrupt was a group. I used to be just around them just all the time, just a little nigga walking around with them and they just rapping. So eventually, you know what I'm saying, I liked it, but I wasn't really trying to do it. But eventually it was a little bug, you know what I'm saying? So I caught the bug and it was like, come on, I'll help you. You know what I'm saying? He always try to bring me along everything he do, you know, he tried to include me in it. So I was like, all right. And did what I did, you know.
We interviewed Cluso shortly before he passed away. R.I.P. He was he played a pivotal role in this story as well. But he mentioned that he told a story that I had up until that point I had never heard before. Since then, I have heard it in various conversations and podcasts and things like that. But Kiki from the Rolling 30s allegedly had an issue, came up to Kelly Park looking for the Bloods who were talking about him disrespectfully. And we all know that you have a verse on, I believe it should have been a B-Dog, right?
And the little EK ride at the end.
Okay.
I go at them.
There was this gangbanger named Big Kiki. And Big Kiki was Kiki Loco's big homie. He was from Harlem 30s. He came all the way to Compton and came on the video shoot and was saying he was looking for REDRUM or BK because he said, I'm going to kill them niggas.
Wow.
And he said, I need to find them niggas because I'm finna kill them niggas because they diss 30s, they diss Harlem, and I need that. And he had his pistol in his hand. He was like, nigga, anybody that got anything to do with that situation, he said, I know y'all all Crips, he said, but nigga, any niggas that got to do anything to do with them 2 niggas, I need that right now. And he was walking around with his pistol looking for anybody that he knew that was on that project that could have been a Blood that might have happened to show up. Luckily, no Bloods was there, so he didn't have to kill anybody. But I mean, he was like, we own that. We need him.
Yeah, you were going at them pretty heavy. And anyone who doesn't know NOTS, they were doing it on the streets also. Man, so much True Blue and so is that story true, that to the best of your knowledge that someone came and looked that
he said it's a true story, but he said it wrong. They didn't come to Steady Dip. Why would they come to Steady Dip?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We wasn't. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Why would we be at that? You know what I'm saying? Even though they threw me in a little video, but that was a clip from the first Banging on Wax. But so this is the story. We was doing PlRU Love. No, we was doing, what was it? Was it PlRU Love? No, it couldn't have been PlRU Love. It had to be. It was the Banging on Wax song when we did that video. So I guess, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because by the time we started doing the video, the album was already circulating in the streets. So when we did the first video, we just invited Bloods and Crips from all over LA. You know what I'm saying? We put the word out like, no set tripping. It's going to be police. It's going to be security. Like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever y'all do, it can't be no set tripping. So for some reason, I don't know, we didn't have social media, nothing back then, but the word had got out. And then people, you know what I'm saying, everybody liked that album. So they was like, shit, I want to be a part of it. So everybody came to the video shoot hella deep. There's just Bloods and Crips from all over LA. So, you know what I'm saying? You had niggas flamed up, blued up, but it was respectful. It was like, it was the truth, like after the truth. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even talked about. You know, they got the news clipping or whatever. But if you see the news clipping, you see we was doing a skit where we coming together straight dissing each other. Like, nigga, on some real shit, just coming to, we meeting in the middle, everybody banging on each other. Bang your set, bang your hood, this, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And we it's like, you know what I'm saying, the scene in Colors, you know what I'm saying, where the Bloods and Crips come in. But that was like a real, like, everybody was it was real gang members, and niggas was like, fuck it, we'll do it. And you know what I'm saying? So niggas did that part. As soon as they say cut, niggas just laughing and shit like it wasn't nothing. So yeah, so
okay. So all right, this album drops, you know, PlRU Love is huge. I remember seeing it on the
you know what? I'm sorry. I was telling you about how Kiki came.
Oh shit.
My bad.
Dog, thank you.
Yeah, we
thank
went
you,
right over that.
Yeah,
so, my bad. So anyway, like I said, we was doing the video, so security came and got me, and then my brother like, what's going on? They're like, oh, this dude wanna holler at Lil CK. So I'm like, who is it? Like, they're like Kiki Loco. I was like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? I'm young, you know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what come out my mouth. I'm just wilding. So I go over there and see what he talking about. He like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you diss my hood, woo, woo, you diss me, woo. So I'm like, man, your homies was dissing all Bloods all across LA. What you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't know, because it was Big Kiki. So when he said who he was, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? You was dissing. I'm like, you was dissing niggas all across LA, woo, woo, woo. But it was like bodyguard. It was like not bodyguard, but it was like security, all kind of standing between us. But I'm just like, you know, talking to him man to man, like, your homies was dissing, woo woo. He like, well, that ain't me. So you said Kiki Loco. You didn't say little Kiki Loco. So I'm like, I don't know who y'all are. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just coming at the person that was coming at everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Coming at us. So he's like, all right, respect. But he like, I'm Big Kiki. You know what I'm saying? You know, so you got a problem with me, you let me know. Woo woo woo. So, you know, I'm like, man, look, it is what it is. You know, whatever. You know, we shook hands or whatever. He's like, I'm like, you know, I ain't tripping on you. Oh, it's your little homie. You know what I'm saying? He spoke up. He dissing. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a response. It's gonna be a response one day. You know what I'm saying? It just happened that we just happened to get this deal at this time, and they was like, they really told us to go after the Crips on the record. That's what they told us, but we was sliding shit in. Like, we want to go after niggas that was coming at everybody, which was True Blue. So that's kind of like how we start getting on the Crips. And then my brother, he went at Snoop because Snoop on one of them box talks or whatever, they had asked him like, hey, what that LBC stand for on your shirt? And he was like, Long Beach Crip. So my brother like, well, we all was like, damn. And then, you know, so my brother, we was just trying to go at all the Crip rappers in the gang. Even though we was cool and like, we knew Battle Cat, Corrupt, we knew, you know, a lot of Crips, but you know, they knew where we was coming from. You know what I'm saying? We were just trying to represent our side and let the world know. You know what I'm saying? It's another side to this.
Now, this thing was obviously huge. You know, this tape alone, I've talked to people and they said it's responsible for starting gangs in their city, you know, along with things like Colors and, you know, Dope and all that. But Banging on Wax was had played a big role in spreading the knowledge of the Crips and Bloods throughout the world, not just the states. But you guys were on Maury Povich. I mean, every news station was talking about this. Can you talk about the time specifically? You know, just right after it dropped, and you're like, "Damn, this is a hit."
Well, I was still going to high school, so I was like at a continuation school called Hillcrest in Inglewood. So at that time, you know, they didn't even tell us when it was going to drop. They just was like, okay. So this was a thing too. Like, the album wasn't supposed to be so commercial as it was. So when we first did it, they told us, look, we're gonna do a Bloods and Crips album. Don't use y'all real names. Y'all use some like fake names, and we're just gonna put a cover with a blue rag and a red rag, and we're just gonna throw the album out there. That's what they told us in the beginning. So we're like, all right. So that's how we came up with these little nicknames. So that's why I came up with Lil CK, because at that time it was a CK from all Bloods. Damn near every Blood hood had a CK. So that's what I was trying to represent. Like, I'm gonna represent all the homies, across LA. You know what I'm saying, with that name. So that's where I picked that up from. My brother, his name from the hood was Red Rag, but Big Y chose to be that name. He was like, I'm gonna be Red Rag. So my brother's like, okay, I'm gonna come up with something. So then he came up with the murder backwards with the 187 backwards. So he's like, I'm gonna be Red Rum 781, which, I'm saying, that name just stuck with him. Bolo, he was Lil Stretch from Bounty Hunter. So, so like, he came in at the ass end, so he didn't know you were supposed to use fake names. So he came in with his name, Lil Stretch. So they didn't know that was his name. So, and then Dog, he had Dog. That was his name. His name was just Dog. He just went with that. So we weren't supposed to show our faces or nothing. So at that time, the news people started coming to us and wanted to put us on TV and all this and that, and tell us, hey, remove your rags. And so, we young and dumb, trying to be famous and, not putting ourselves out there. So we started taking off our rags and started like, fuck it. Like, hey, it is what it is. This is who we are, So, yeah, we didn't even know that it was going to do what it did. We were shocked ourselves. So like I said, I'm going to school and, people like, everybody like hearing the song. And then, every picnic we go into, everywhere we go, they playing the music. We driving down the street, you know what I'm saying? It was like, something new to us. Like, damn, like, people really like this. Like, and we dissed them. It's like, I don't know. It was like Crips liked it. Bloods liked it. I'm talking about Crips like the Blood side.
Oh, yeah.
And it was, you know what I'm saying? It was Bloods that like some of the Crip side. You know what I'm saying? They'll play it low key and, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like, I don't know. It just did something that we didn't know it was going to do. But I really think this is what kind of did it too. I think at the time, you had the NWA breakup. So their music wasn't dropping. Then Death Row, it was taking so long for Snoop to come out. Everybody was waiting on Snoop. But so at that time, we dropped like 3 albums by the time Snoop dropped one. No, it was 2 albums. So people they just want to hear some gangsta hood music. And I think we took the place of them not hearing the commercial gang music, hood music. We just gave it to them raw and just straight. This is what it is. This is what LA Streets is about. And it was just like an add-on to Color. So people just loved it. But we wasn't trying to. So Bangin' on Wax was supposed to be a truce. It was supposed to be a truce album. I don't know how they wanted it to be a truce album with us dissing. But it's supposed to be like a come together, kumbaya type of thing. But that's not what it turned into. It just, they let us diss, you know what I'm saying, and say certain shit we shouldn't have said. And it just took off and went where it went,
Yeah. And I'm not trying to get in your pockets or anything, but is it safe to say that most of the people who participated in this project didn't get what they should have gotten financially?
Oh yeah, that's no secret. Basically, they was having us like. It's funny because it sounds funny now when you hear it back, but we was young and we wasn't thinking. You know what I'm saying? Nobody had no experience in music, didn't know split sheets, didn't know contracts, didn't know copywriting. We didn't know nothing. So they would come in and be bringing us chicken. It's like I said, it sounds funny, but that's what it was. They be bringing us 40 ounces and we be drinking and just partying and smoking weed and, having fun, vibing, trying to write songs. And they just throw a contract in our face. Like, hey, we probably gonna put this out next week. Cause we did the whole album in like a week. It's like, we're gonna try to put it out next week, y'all. And, we excited and we drinking and we, young. And they throw the contract in our face. Like, here, sign here. We don't even read the contract. We just sign it. Mm. And, so everybody did that. So anybody who didn't do it, we didn't know about. They would do it behind the scenes or whatever they did, the little secret stuff they would do would be behind the scenes type of stuff. So this is what they promised us. once this album is over, you all will get individual group, either a solo contract or a group contract, and those contracts is going to be right. You know, y'all going to get y'all just do and this and that, and so with that one we found out they sold our publishing for $1. So, you know, we got screwed on that. So then when we were supposed to do our solo albums, by that time, my mother, she had got a hold to the contract, and she was like, "Man, y'all all over the place. Y'all got billboards. Y'all got this going on. Y'all got that going on. Maury Povich, y'all on the news. Y'all all over the place. Y'all in front of record stores. They done painted pictures of y'all in front of record stores." And she's like, "But where's the money? We're gonna have a lawyer look over y'all contract." So we like, all right, we don't know nothing. We like a contract. All right, well, yeah. They look over our contract like, this is a joke. This is a joke. They was like, "Hey, screw y'all. Don't do no more business with them." Mm-hmm. So we like, what? Like, don't do more business. Like, what? That's our outlet to music. They like, yeah, but they screwing y'all. Y'all, they are making all the profits while y'all are getting nothing, and you guys are putting your faces on TV and all over the place for rival gangs and people to come do something to y'all, and y'all not getting nothing for it. Y'all doing all this for free. So we like, oh hell no, oh hell no. So eventually, you know, people, you know, we had people all over LA, like, you know, they knew who we were and just loving the music and want to see us go further. So we eventually got signed by to a manager contract with Big Jake, which, rest in peace, that was the whole Death Row.
Yeah.
Type thing. He was the manager for DJ Quick, so he was trying to get us a deal, and he eventually got us in the office with Suge to freestyle for Suge. So that's, you know, another little situation. We ended up freestyling for Suge, and he wanted to sign us. So he said at that time he wanted to sign us, and yeah, all this and this and that. But you know, that didn't work out. But that's how we ended up eventually being on Death Row.
Brother recorded the whole project at Death Row, didn't he?
Yeah, well, it was a group project. He got signed as a he got signed. Well, okay, so me and him got signed as a group, right? Just me and him. They signed Nene separately, and they signed Bolo and Big Y separately. Like, I don't know how Bolo and Big Y got their deal. I don't know how Nene got her deal. I just know about, like, me and my brother. So, like another thing, you know, like when we were doing the Bangin' on Wax, everybody had fell out with each other. You know what I'm saying? It was just like conflict on conflict. So by the time we got to Death Row, we wasn't even getting along with them dudes. So we just eventually ended up on the same label. Like, again, like, what the hell? So, yeah, Suge just signed us all individually, but it was really, from what, I don't know, it could be a rumor, I don't know, but from what we heard, it was really to quiet us down. He wanted to shelve us and quiet us down because we was making too much noise on the streets. So he wanted his artists to shine and get they just due.
Wow. Okay.
So that's what was told to us through some Death Row affiliates, and you know, so I don't know if it's true. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But he never put us out. You know, we recorded a lot of songs, and you know, we never got on no soundtrack. We was promised to get on soundtracks and all kind of stuff, but it never happened. So we just kept on grinding the music and trying to, you know, do our own thing eventually.
The last thing I want to talk about before we wrap it up is fast forward to 2006. You appeared on Rep Your Set. Rep Your Set is a compilation album by Reputable Records. It involved several B's and C's. I remember the CD, and I think it even came with the DVD also. But what can you tell us about that project?
Okay, so that project, it was like an extension for Bangin' on Wax, but they could not use Bangin' on Wax name or likeness, you know what I'm saying? So they want to call it Rep Your Set, but this time they're like, y'all can't diss, ain't gonna be no diss, and you know, we want to y'all just to rep y'all neighborhood, and then we're gonna do a documentary where we're gonna come to y'all neighborhood and see, you know, with y'all hanging out and all this and this and that. So we're like, all right, well, and at that time I wasn't doing no gang bang music, nothing like. After Bangin' on Wax, I really kind of stopped doing like gang banging shit, like, because I, you know, eventually, you know, I heard everybody was like, oh, we used to do drive-bys to y'all music, and you know, the homies started the hood out here. You know, we used to hear all that type of stuff. You know, and then I would go to jail. And, you know, niggas be telling me all their stories about the type of things they used to do to our music, and I was like, damn. You know, I didn't think it was gonna be like that, but it is what it is. You know. Like, what was your question again?
The rep you said just that whole time, you know.
So they just wanted to do another project and see if we can get that momentum back. But somebody leaked the project, and you know, we had like real producers on there, Nephew, and what was the name of the cast? A few other casts, but yeah, we had some real production on that album, and somebody leaked it, and you know, at that time, you can, you know, that's when people was copying CDs and making a bunch of CDs. So people it flooded the streets, you know, on bootleg copies. So it you know, it went where it went.
Yeah. You know, before we wrap it up, what are some common misconceptions or falsehoods that you hear a lot when it comes to Banging on Wax? And you don't have to call anyone out or anything, but what are a few things about Banging on Wax that you hear that just don't quite add up that you would like to square away, you know?
People saying that it was fake gang members and shit. It's like everybody that was a part of Banging on Wax 1 that I was a part of, everybody was from their hoods. Gang banging put on, you know what I'm saying, in the streets. So that's one misconception I be hearing about, like, oh, everybody wasn't real. Everybody was real. Now, as far as like certain individuals saying how they killed this and killed that down, people say that all the time on record. So you can't go by that. But you know, what else? You know, people be saying everybody dead, and you know they say I'm dead. They say, you know, before my brother was dead, they said he was dead. You know,
right? There's a curse.
Yeah. Right. And then the curse thing. Everybody's talking about the curse. Well. Really on Banging on Wax 1, nobody died except my brother and Nene, and they didn't die from no gang stuff. And even with AWOL, he didn't die from no gang stuff. It was some police stuff. So really nobody from Banging on Wax 1 died from any type of gang activity. Even Tweety Bird, you know, he passed from no health complications, but nobody passed from no gang violence. Except, Faux Clips. He died from some gang violence, but you know, that was something. It had nothing to do with Banging on Wax. Now, when Banging on Wax 2 came around, now that was something different because, you know, like I told you before, Banging on Wax was supposed to be just us doing one album, and then we were supposed to do just a regular type of album, like just a hip hop album. After that, individual groups. And then part 2, we supposed to bring the homies, the next blood rappers up, and let them get their shine in, and they was going to do the same thing with them. But it never happened like that, so that's why, you know, you had groups like, well, they did eventually sign, they signed Big Y and Bolo and Lil Stretch with their group, The Relatives, which they had us on there, they featured us on the song. But other than that, they didn't sign nobody else. They signed Nene. I think they signed Nene and did an album on her. But at that time, the momentum was kind of gone. And who else they signed? And Green Eyes got signed, but Green Eyes got signed by the owner of the Leon Haywood, who did that song Freaky, whatever. You know the song that they took. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So he ended up signing Green Eyes. And so that's all basically who got signed. It wasn't really no deals came out of that. It wasn't, you know, then you know, like I said, Banging on Wax 2, that's when people started getting killed. But I don't think it was because of Banging on Wax. They was out there really, like I said, they was out there really gang banging. It was a lot of street shit going on. It was like the gang banging was at its height at that time. You know what I'm saying? It was just people was just getting caught up in some messed up circumstances. You know, we were still out there gang banging and just being careful and just, you know what I'm saying, by the grace of God, you know what I'm saying, we made it through it. And, you know, just people was getting caught, you know. There wasn't no dudes that just say they from where they from and then be in the house. Niggas that say they where they from on TV and still be outside. You know what I'm saying? So You know, bad stuff is bound to happen, you know, when you're out in them streets. So that's, you know, that's basically what happened to them. It was no curse. I don't think it was a curse. You know,
yeah. There's a lot of conspiracies around that album, especially the I've heard this one more than once, but the Bangin' on Wax album cover, the floor you guys are standing on is checkered, Illuminati type stuff. I'm like, people will pick them.
I don't even believe it, but you know, and I looked at that when they said that. But like I said, who died from gang violence on that album? Nobody. So it just happened. The man had a checkered floor. Like that whole album cover was. They didn't know what they was. They didn't know. They couldn't figure out what they was gonna do for an album cover. So this is what they told us to do. They said spray paint a line in the wall. Spray paint a line in the wall. And this is inside the studio. We painted a line down the wall. They said y'all hit up what y'all want to on y'all side. They hit up what they want to on our side. None of my brother and them, Bolo, Stress, they couldn't hit up. So they gave me the can. I hit up everything. Boom, boom, boom. Struck up. They struck up their side. Boom, boom, boom. So they was like, okay, y'all stand on y'all side. They stand on their side. And they told us to burn the flag. Like, no. I think somebody came up with that. Like, we should burn the flag or whatever. We like, hell no. We like, man, like, no. They, yeah, that's a good idea. Woo. So we like, man, we was hot, but we was like, man, whatever. You know, so they did theirs and we burnt theirs. They burnt ours. And it was like, you know what I'm saying? It was stupid, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. So that's how that whole little album cover came about. It wasn't like they was like, oh, you should do it in front of the checkerboards. And then, it was a floor and it was a wall. They said right on the wall, take a picture in the front of it. And that's how that came about. So, yeah. Anything else you hear, let me know. I'll discredit all that crap.
Man, I appreciate your candidness. I appreciate your story, and I definitely appreciate you coming on the show, man. It's been a pleasure talking with you. And any last words? Anyone you want to give a shout out to, man? The floor is yours.
Yeah, shout out to the whole Inglewood, you know what I'm saying? Especially the avenues, you know. Shout out to my guys, you know, across the land. And you know, just want to say, you know, y'all be looking for some music coming from me soon. I'm eventually gonna do some unreleased REDRUM stuff, but you know, I got people who, you know, have his projects, but they ain't coming through doing what they say they're gonna do. So, you know, eventually I'll get it, or somehow I'll have to figure out a way to get it. But you know, I'll be coming with some more music for y'all, and you know,
oh, that's gonna be dope.
Stay tuned. And you know, I'm producing now, so I got tracks. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just get at me on. Yeah. So
drop your Instagram, man. Drop anything, dog.
Yeah. So basically, I'm really in my beginning stages. Well, I've been in it for like almost a year now. I got a lot of tracks. I got a lot of, you know what I'm saying, help from a lot of producers who've been messing with me and showing me the way. And, you know, I took a class for 6 months and learned the MPC and learned, you know what I'm saying, the DAWs and everything. So I'm producing and recording, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, any new artists out there, you know what I'm saying, trying to get their little shine in, you know, I'm willing to help out, you know, so just get at me. And my stuff ain't really together on my social medias yet, but y'all still can hit me on at Solid from Day One on Instagram, or Leaked Beats on Instagram. And my YouTube channel ain't really together yet. I'm gonna get all that eventually, but I'm just steady working and trying to be behind the scenes on production and trying to give y'all something that y'all been missing.
Yeah.
So y'all be looking out for it.
Let me know if you need help with your YouTube channel, man. I'll gladly set an hour aside to, you know, help you, you know, get things started.
I appreciate it. Also, I got a group, Mature Content. We're gonna be dropping something soon too, and let y'all hear some fire music. You know, some mature music. You know, I don't do the type of the hood stuff no more. You know, I got hood stories, but I don't do the gang bang stuff no more. So, you know, I'm very wise in my age now, and I talk about things that need to be talked about, not all that riff-raff that y'all hear in the street. So it's for a mature audience. It ain't for the youngsters popping pills and sipping lean, you know.
Thank you for
stay tuned.
Thank you for tuning in to Dusty Vision TV. Please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now.
Yeah. You gotta understand something. These Queen Elizabeth had a 100-year plan. Let me explain something to you, man. Queen Elizabeth had a 100-year plan to take slaves from West Africa, take them to America, enslave them, enslave their minds. And then you had niggas like Willie Lynch. He came over. He was already over there. Willie Lynch showed them how to break us because he was a slave. So he showed them how to break us. So now they pulling us. Now they pulling us out. The biggest man they could find, bend him over, tie him down, whoop him half to death,
break him,
and then rape him. Because you know they've been doing this to us forever, man. And every time we get somebody that's gonna stand up for us, they kill him. Everybody that try to come back and get our people and put us to like back together where we were supposed to be at, hey, kill him. That's like knocking Nipsey off.
R.I.P.
Nipsey, Malcolm, Hannibal Burger, the general, because nigga he used to be giving Rome hell. And this is modern day Rome.
Yep.
Because all the football stadium is
Coliseum.
Is where the Romans used to go is the Coliseum. That's all you doing. When you go to a baseball game, a football game, basketball game, hockey game, soccer game, you're in the Coliseum. They all because I build buildings. I do iron work for the union, so I read blueprints and I build buildings. So when we get the blueprints, all the blueprints are the same. The blueprints for SoFi was the same blueprints for Inuit, the Clipper Dome that's right across the street. All institutions. We living in this time where we so brainwashed and mind boggled by all the shit that's going on, the glitz and the glamour. It's fucking us up. Listen to today's topic. Average woman, 34, 35. If she's an LVN, she thinks she's entitled to a 6-figure nigga that's 6 feet, no kids, got his own house, and all this shit. Bitch, you was on the county 7 months ago. You got 3 different baby daddies, and you want a nigga that's a millionaire, and you wonder why he want to accept you. First of all, bitch, you can't hold a conversation. 1, 2, your eyelashes is too long. Nigga can't even look you in your eye. 3, take off everything, that makeup, that whatever that shit is on your head, and take them nails off, and let me see you, and then we can have a conversation.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's why I married my wife, because when I first met her, she didn't have none of that shit on. You gonna look like you 10 years from now, and you got some sense. And I can talk to you, but I'm having a problem. That's another thing. When men have problems, if I want to go to my woman in my life, hey, look, I'm having an issue right now. Woo. If I can't do that with you, this shit ain't working. Because I'm laying up in here with you every night. But today's society, women don't want that. You a good nigga. You a good nigga. If you a good nigga, if you come over, drop some dick off, a couple dollars, and get on, man, you an excellent nigga, man. You winning. Because that's what they want, and that's what Sexy Red and Cardi B told them, and Megan Thee Stallion.
Dog, Sexy Red is on a whole other level with her shit on me. I'm like, really, dog? Hey, what do you think about drill music, dog, and all this craziness? You know, when we grew up, we had gangster rap, but it had a message. It had, you know, we had Cube. He was talking gangster shit, but there was messages under Ice-T, same, Snoop, same. Right. But now you got, you know, kill him up, shoot him up, peeing on your grave, smoking your op, you know, just doing the most disrespectful stuff on record. What do you think about drill music, dog?
Well, I mean, you know, I can't. It's all right, but this is the thing. This is my thing. Is you actually doing this shit? Because if you are and you putting it on record, nigga, you tell it on yourself.
And they're locking people up right now. Young Thug is going through a situation right now, and they're playing his lyrics in court.
Yeah. But I think that was all. I think that's all part of the game. Because that nigga ain't do nothing.
don't do nothing.
Yeah,
but the drill music is this. But see, that's the era we in though. The drill music is this. A lot of niggas that singing the drill music probably not really drilling. Okay. You ever seen what's the one movie 8 Mile?
of course.
With Eminem. Remember he get talking about the nigga Clarence.
He lived with both parents. Both parents had a real good marriage.
Right. A lot of niggas that's in drill music is Clarence. If you go look at their background, a lot of niggas probably went to private school, ain't never been in trouble in their life, and they talented. They're talented. That's what rappers do, bro. They look at you, they look around, see what's going on. If they're not living the lifestyle, they know somebody that's in the lifestyle, or they're close to somebody in the lifestyle, so they can witness it. Then they go reverb it.
Mm-hmm.
It's debriefing. Rapping is debriefing. I want motherfuckers to know that, nigga. You tell it.
Break that shit down.
It's debriefing to inform, because this is what you do. It's like when a nigga go in there and he debriefed them. He told the people. He told the police, them officers right there that he told that to, they finna go to their sergeant and they finna debrief to him what happened.
Mm-hmm. Because they are getting, some of these songs, they are getting discreet. I shot him on 17th Street. I pulled up to his mom's house over there on Bartlett. Like they're really doing this. I can't believe it.
But, and that's another thing, a lot of niggas is getting clout off that. Like, that's famous. That makes you famous. That makes you a joint. Because you a joint. You're not a rider no more, you a joint now. But that makes you a joint. We're in a different era. Times. Remember I told you about frequencies and times is changing?
Yep.
Now music has frequencies. Okay, now listen to what you said, drill music. We both know what drilling is. And look what's going on. It's a whole lot of drilling going on. Unnecessary drilling.
Chicago, I mean right here in LA, man. It's going down, dog. It's not as bad as it was in the 80s and 90s, but it's getting right back there.
It's getting to its point. It's getting to its point. It's like remember the old school Jets, the little magazines.
Oh, of course, yeah. The Beauty of the Week and all that.
You go back in them, and you can see the murder rate. Who got the highest murder rate?
That's right. I forgot about that shit, dog. I do remember. Yeah.
If you remember, now keep in mind. We talking about a predominantly black magazine.
That's right. I forgot about that part.
Now, if you go back. I'm saying if you just go back and whatever last one they ever made, and just go back 20 years from that, every top 5 city that they got in the back of that book is going to be a predominantly black era. And at that time that they had the murder rate, or was in that top 5, drugs was plentiful in those areas.
Yep. Little Rock, Arkansas is the you know what I'm saying? Shit, Compton was in 92, 93, I think.
Yeah. Again, the government. Let's get these niggas some more dope. What you niggas gonna do with your dope? We're gonna buy more guns. What you niggas gonna do with the money? We're gonna buy more cars, we're gonna buy more jewelry, and this is how the economy rolls.
What were some of the roughest years in Galveston when it was just popping at its worst, man?
You talking about on the gangbang from like 89, I'm gonna say from like 89 to like 97 and slowed down. Then you had like that's when motherfuckers start getting on some players shipping. Motherfuckers been shipping drink down here. A lot of people, I'm dropping my flags. A lot of people was hanging with Crips and Bloods, and people was looking down on them and frowning up on them. Cause how you a Crip and you hang with a Blood? Motherfuckers was seeing a different picture. They hustling, they getting money together, going out of town, going to concerts, going to Southwest by the Bayou Classics and Louisiana, taking trips. Them boys doing things, and motherfuckers still gangbanging, broke, ain't got no money in their pockets, and motherfuckers be mad at their homies because you want to be out here on some boy. You ain't trying to do nothing to get no money in your pocket. So a lot of people, but when like I say, when that motherfuckers, that all the people that caught the murder cases, when them motherfuckers come back home, that shit crank back up.
You know, earlier you mentioned Chicago was the city that made it cool to, quote, I guess advertise your crimes.
Yeah,
you know
they let Chicago do that.
Talk to me. Break it down.
Man, I seen it. Like, I'm watching it on my I'm out on bond on the murder case from 2012 to 14. I'm seeing all the little shooting shit going on. This one, what's that? TikTok and I think Twitter. All this shit was starting Twitter. To pop. Yeah, this shit was starting to pop. That Twitter, not TikTok and Instagram, and they was just showing all this shit on TV. I'm like, damn, they really showing a nigga got killed and Showing ain't these motherfuckers telling you, hey, I'm gonna meet them right here and pull up right here. And I'm like, they really doing this here and ain't nothing getting solved. They letting that shit go on.
That's crazy, homie. Yeah. I was just talking about this recently, where the rate of police solving crimes in these cities is way down. More crime, but less percentage of crime is getting solved. Even though we have cameras on every block, everybody has a camera. Like, there's so much more technology, but the police are solving less crime. Do they want it to keep?
The police don't want to solve. They without motherfuckers going to the penitentiary, and that's why they keep. It's a recycle. Like, they can slow it down. It's money time. Like, back, okay, how old are you, Dusty?
I'm 46.
Okay, you 46. You born in the 70s, so you seen the difference in the 90s, how we grew up in the 2000s, how shit was. They don't want us to go at a slow pace like that, where you got to go take your family to go see a movie. They want to give you a fire stick where you can just, everything is up to speed. It's like the world is you can't even talk to your kids no more and tell them that ain't no more laying law down. Yeah. It's just they want to pick and choose on who they want to lay law on. But if you do something, what that boy say is cool when they do it, it's a problem when I do it.
Right.
So it's just a pick and choose game, man. But we gotta all come, and especially black people, we got to come together and see the bigger picture. But we curse it. We are the motherfuckers. And whatever we did that God told us, I don't know. I wish I was at that tree when that boy ate that fruit. And God told us not to eat that. I wouldn't. Like, you not finna tell me what she told. You not eating it. And God told we got all this land over here. And he told us not to go over there. Why are you over there?
I like how he breaks it down, man. Hey, talk to me about we're kind of talking about rappers, or people just advertising their crimes, and not only that, putting it in their songs. I killed such and such on A Street. I was wearing a green shirt. Hate me, nigga. Rolling in my purple caddy, nigga. Come through, check the addy. Like, they're literally rhyming what they did, and not only that, courts are using these lyrics. You know what I'm saying? In court,
they feel like they're gonna get a record deal. Most motherfuckers doing this because they think something's gonna come out. If I tell you I killed 10 motherfuckers, I killed 30. That shit weak, man. We come under code. Like, man, you ain't like, motherfuckers ain't gotta tell you what they did. If that's what it is, you ain't got to rap about it. Like, everybody want to be a gangster. Like, back then, you had just certain roles. Like, everybody. Okay, say back then you was in the car. Probably 1 or 2 motherfuckers had a gun in the car. You ride with these young niggas nowadays. Everybody in the car got a chopper.
Yeah, with extended clip and other shit switch.
Extended clip. These motherfuckers got brand new gun. I remember we had 22s with one shot. I remember we had a 38, 22, 25, and shit. That's what we come up on 38. If you had you a 4, 5, or a 9, you was in.
A 9, damn. Man, hey, what do you think about the Young Thug situation and RICO acts, and these people getting hit with these RICO situations? You been following that?
Man, them people, I ain't been following it, but I could look at it from these people. Young Thug and them should have known better. They've been like, all these rappers are dumb, man. They talk about all they crime. It's like this here. If you don't talk about your crime, ain't nobody gonna support you. Ain't nobody gonna listen to your music. They feel like. So I got to tell you, I did this here. And then motherfuckers be knowing these niggas gonna snitch. Everybody ain't no gangster. Everybody know this here. Everybody ain't no killer. Yeah, it's fun when motherfuckers gonna kill somebody until them people come in that courtroom and get the goddamn talking that time. Now this nigga testifying on you, telling everything. Tell you where your mama stay, your grandma. He dropping where your everything. So it's just a lot of people put themselves in them situations, and you ain't even gotta put yourself in the. Man, if you really wanna, like, these people, I don't think they really watch Menace to Society or Boys in the Hood. South Central, all these movies, they's giving you the game. Like, you can do it to a certain extent, but eventually you got to change. A lot of motherfuckers think they can keep on killing for life, and just think
like a lot of them didn't watch the endings, dog. They didn't watch the ending of the movies.
No, they ain't watch the endings. They ain't watch the endings. They like to begin. They want to go back.
They stopped where Ice Cube shot homeboy in the parking lot. Turn your punk ass over. That's where they stopped. They didn't see the other shit.
They ain't read the MO when they say 2 weeks later after they buried Ricky, they rolled up on him.
Exactly.
And killed him. Yeah. Shit, so
damn, homie, you breaking that down. Yeah, keep it going.
They just don't be paying attention, man. I ain't gonna lie, prison saved me, TYC. I'm kind of glad I've been to that shit.
Tell me about that, how prison saved you.
Man, prison, goddamn it, I had a 4. I had got my murder case dropped for manslaughter. accidentally killed somebody. He ain't had nothing to do with it. It was an accident. I'm getting into it with somebody at a store or whatever, and shit, man, it went a bad way, and goddamn me, I was charged with murder, man. You know, everything down here, we don't got what's that, attempted murder? We got aggravated assault. It's $5.99. If you spit on somebody or you goddamn me slap them, that's aggravated assault. Or you might well kill them because you facing the same goddamn charge. $5.99. Yeah, it's like that in Texas. And we got first degree murder and we got capital murder. And they charged me from at first with murder, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and unlawful carry of a firearm because I was at a store where they sell alcohol and tobacco at.
How to change your life, man. You know, because this is the part where the kids need to pay attention. You paid attention to all this shit. This is why I really need you to pay attention.
It kind of fucked me up because somebody that lost their life ain't had nothing to do with it. Like, that shit still hurt me to the day. It was like 12 years ago, but, you know, I'm still dealing with it. Somebody that ain't had nothing to do with it, and I was cool with the dude. Like, that was really my partner, but I'm getting into it with somebody else, and that shit happened, but I ended up going to prison. I went in there and faced them people because they wasn't trying to go down. They were talking about 40 years, and at the least, they'll do 20. I had to pay lawyer. I had to see, a lot of people don't know, for when you catch a murder case, you ain't got no money for no lawyer. It costs, in Texas, you need $50,000 to $20,000 for sure.
Yeah.
Off the rip. When you fighting a murder case, yeah, you gotta come with that bread. This ain't no drug case where you can give $1,500 and all that. You got to come with that money. So I had to come up with a lawyer and all type of shit, man. But I had went to trial. I got it dropped from murder to manslaughter, 4 years.
Looking forward to catching up with this dude, man. He's a real one. Always a great conversation. And I know it's going to be a great conversation today. He's been on my show before. Ladies and gentlemen, on the line, DJ Boulevard Rod. What up, dude?
Yes, sir. What's up with you, Dusty?
Man, can't complain, man. How's everything going with you? How's your 2024 going so far?
Man, everything's smooth. Just a little stressful because, you know, the streets don't have no love for nobody, man. So it's like every time you leave the house, you expect to come back, you know, just like how you came out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie, it's wicked out here right now, man. I mean, everybody getting into it, all, you know, different sets. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the drugs or what it is, but man, the police got their job. They got a full-time job messing with these youngsters right now, man.
Yeah. You know, you go way back, man. You grew up in the 80s in LA, 90s. You know, what's the difference between back then and in 2024?
Well, it's kind of a little different, but as far as the drama, it's kind of like the same. It's like a lot of older dudes my age or maybe older, they be like, you know, all these dudes, you know, they ain't like how we was. I kind of like, and you know, disagree with that because these youngsters out here, they kill. They ain't playing no games because like there's so much going on. Cause I know a few times you probably see me post stuff that was going on in LA. I posted on my Instagram page. There's so much of that going on. I ain't even gonna lie. I can't even post all of it because it's constantly shooting back to back every day. Like, you know, some of those youngsters named Stevie Boy from West Boulevard, he lost his life in the club, and I saw the video of it. He got stabbed and lost his life that fast. And, you know, behind him, I just seen, you know, on Citizen that which been back to back, you know, shooting. I'm like, damn. So these fools, they going at it, you know, it's like nonstop. It's, you know, it's different hoods, you know, from the east side to the west side. So to me, it really ain't a difference, but the caliber type of, you know, dudes that was banging back then, they more vicious than the ones now. Like back then, they was doing way more vicious crimes, for as like on, you know, for as like, you know, blood and Crips going, you know, for as like the Crips go shoot the Bloods up and they come back. But the way how they was doing it, it's kind of like a little different. It's more vicious back then than it was now. It's kind of more they wild the way they doing it now. But to me, it really ain't no difference though, man. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I've heard that before. You know, since you've been on my show, man, let's give everybody a quick recap of our first interview, and then I would love to talk about some of the new stuff that's been going on out there in the streets and out there in the YouTube streets and all that good stuff. So let's take it all the way back, man. Remind everybody where you grew up.
Yeah, I grew up on the east side of South Central. The first part of the east side I grew up on, you know, from a baby, was like in the area where King Boulevard and Avalon. But, back then, that street was Santa Barbara. So I grew up there, in the late 60s, all the way to about 71. And then my mom's moved on 46 in Ascot, in that area right there. So from there, from 71 all the way, till as an adult, I grew up in that area right there. And that area right there is considered like 40 PlRU and Bloodstone Villain Hood.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
and it was real. Yeah, and it was real vicious over there too. And the whole part of the East Side was real vicious back then. Because I don't know if I told you that the first interview, it was all about it was a lot of bullying going on, and most of the bully coming from as far as like the older dudes that pick on the younger dudes. It's almost like being in a jungle, like the lion gonna pick on the weak, and that's what was going on back then on the East Side in the 70s.
Mm. Now, the East Side has always had a certain reputation. In LA, everyone knows it's pretty rough in that area. In fact, that's where you grew up, or where you live now, is where PNB Rock was unfortunately gunned down at the Roscoe's, right? Yeah,
I won't stay too far from there right now.
The East Side, like I said, has always had just being a reputation of being ruthless, and correct me if I'm wrong. The terms Eastie, and there's other terms out there that describe the East Side of South Central. What makes the East Side different than the rest of South LA and LA in general?
Me personally, me growing up on the East Side all my life, and I got family that live on the West Side. So like in the summertime or the weekend, I would spend the night at my cousin's house, and he used to be from Roller 60. But to me, the difference was, in the early days, it was way more grimier on the East Side than it was on the West Side. Because you got to think, majority of the blacks on the West Side, they had the 2-parent home in the house. But on the East Side, it kind of like, it wasn't a lot of that. A lot of us grew up without a father. And, I was one of them that grew up without a father. Then a lot of my friends, they grew up without fathers, or their parents was on drugs. So, just me personally, it was way more grimier on the East Side of LA, and and can't leave out Watts either. Watts was just as grimy as the part of the East Side I was from, because Watts considered the East Side too. So yeah, that was, to me, that was more of a distance. Even like some of the dudes I was cool with on the West Side, they'd be like, "Man, I don't like coming over there, man. Y'all, y'all grimy over there, for y'all scandalous." So we always had that reputation of being, real grimy and scandalous over there on the East Side.
Yeah. Now, you said you were born in what year again? Did you say 69?
67.
67. Okay. So you've seen LA go through several changes. Take yourself back to the 70s, even up to maybe 1980, 81, before the crack epidemic hit and things like that. What were some of the changes you remember, going from the 70s to the 80s in LA?
For the 70s, it seemed like more majority of people, it's kind of like, basically say like living like poor. And, that was like mostly all the 70s. And then say like once it came into the 80s, in the early 80s, say like 83, 84. So that's like when the crack hit. And then you start seeing like a lot of blacks having money. And, far as like they having cars, everybody got, buying, all the Fila stuff or whatever. And then like the 90s, it kind of changed where the blacks were still having, most of the drugs, but it started changing in the early 90s. So by then, I was already going to the pen in 92. But back to what you were saying, for the 70s, you didn't really see too many black people balling out like how they was in the 80s and the early 90s. So it's kind of like when the dough slowed down for the blacks in the 90s, it was a lot of robberies. And then, from us targeting on each other, robbing each other. Because say like in each neighborhood, somebody, one of their homies might have, the sack, the big dope sack. But then, he got to deal with the sharks, his own homies or dudes that's not, they neighborhood not too far from that hood. They gonna try to rob him. And then from there, when a lot of them dudes got locked up for the crack cases, then that's when the robberies went up. And then for some, in the early 90s, a lot of different sets, started robbing banks. So a lot of dudes started going to jail for robbing banks, or they was getting caught up in the crack law, running the dope shit out of town. And next thing you know, the federal prison was full of Crips and Bloods, you know, just on based on them two things I was just saying right there, as far as the bank robbery and the crack cases.